Fiona, your good friend and your host of your favorite talk show from the UNH Classics program, Hoi Polloi. Today we're doing something a little different. I thought with the summertime barbecue season upon us, this was the perfect time to take this show's obsession with lunch to the next level. Well, of course, staying on topic. So, today we will be cooking a recipe from the ancient world called Moretum. And so this recipe comes from a Latin poem, which is attributed to Virgil, and the poem is called Moretum, which basically is a Latin word that means salad, or more accurately, in this case, perhaps pesto. More on the poem in a little bit, but right now, let's take a look at the ingredients. They're pretty simple for this. First of all, 4 heads of garlic. I got mine at the grocery store, although in the poem, I think he digs them out from the ground. Parsley. Cilantro, which I found out across the pond they call coriander. Salt, of course, the most classic ingredient of all time. Romano cheese, you could probably do any kind of cheese, but I thought this one was nice since it says Rome in it. White vinegar, olive oil, of course, and that's it. To move on to the process, the first step is to do a little bit of chopping of our greens. There's some mortar and pestling in our future, so I figured the chopping would just make that step a little bit easier. So all I'm doing is chopping, and then I don't know if I'm good at chopping, but I'm chopping, and then I'm putting them into little bowls and setting them aside. And then it was time for the garlic, which was the hardest part of this for me. I've never peeled garlic or anything before, which is probably evident by how difficult I'm making this look. I guess now would be a good time to address just how much garlic there is in this recipe, because 4 heads, that's kind of a lot. And you probably could reduce it. You could do 2 or even 1. But my approach when I was doing this was that I feel like it's like a daily double. And if I was ever on Jeopardy and I was fortunate enough to land on the daily double, there's no way in hell I would be saying anything other than let's make it a true daily double, even if it was a category I felt like I knew nothing about, which is a lot of the categories on Jeopardy. You have to make it a true daily double. And I believe that is what I have done by using all 4 heads of garlic in this recipe. So it took me a long time to peel, but I did eventually finish up, get all the cloves done, and then I only had to do it 3 more times. But I am sparing you that, and we're cutting straight to the chopping. I would like to say that it's a week and a half later and my hands still smell like garlic, so if you're going to do this and you're going to use all the garlic, you might want to take some precautionary measures like gloves or something. Anyway, this is when I realized that my bowl, my mortar, I think that's the mortar, was not big enough. And so here I'm switching it out for a bigger bowl that has more room for all the garlic and all the other ingredients too. Now the garlic was the only thing in the poem that has a specified amount, so with all this other stuff I'm just sort of putting some in until it feels right. I grated kind of a lot of cheese in there, and I cut this out but I add more later, sprinkling in some green stuff however much I felt like. Yep, do the other one. Sprinkling on some salt. You know, don't be shy with that. You want it to be salty, don't you? And then it was time for the fun part. I'm taking my pestle, and I hope I'm identifying these parts right, but I'm taking my pestle and I'm just going to town with the squishing and the grinding and the, I can't think of another verb for this action. Speaking, however, of language, this part is really special in the poem, and even I, who don't really know Latin, know it's special because this poem contains probably one of the most famous Latin phrases in the United States. I might be giving it away there, but the poem talks about how all these different ingredients, which are all different colors, sort of come together in the process of the mixing and form one cohesive mixture, and the Latin words that are used to describe this special moment of coming together is, you guessed it, e pluribus unum, which I guess is pretty fitting for this time of year. Anyway, once I was satisfied that my mixture was sufficiently unumed, I sprinkled on my vinegar, and then I'm going to sprinkle on a little bit of olive oil. Again, I'm just guessing with these measurements. I don't know. I did a spoonful and then a little bit more, which is one of my favorite all-time measurements to use. And then we're mixing that all together just to get those wet things mixed in. And it really does, here it reminds me of, if you've ever been to Polloi Commons at UNH, you'll know that this looks like the spinach and artichoke dip on a Mediterranean night. It doesn't really taste like it, but it's got the same color, the same consistency as that stuff does, and that stuff is really good. So at this point I was feeling pretty hopeful. I'm forming it into a ball here, and then I went ahead and covered it with plastic and put it in the fridge for a while to chill. Meanwhile, I heated up some bread, which was definitely homemade. And then when I ate it, I just spread a little bit of the pesto on top of the bread and took a big old honkin' bite. I did film myself. I filmed myself eating it. I don't think it's necessary to show that. Instead, please enjoy these 3 pictures, which I do believe communicate my experience of eating this stuff. It really was a lot of garlic, folks. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the rest of the summer. More of these should be coming your way.